All right. We are here and we are live. Oh, man, I am so excited. Let me tell you, ladies, this woman is a busy woman, but you would never know. She's a very successful entrepreneur that helps people organize their lives and their businesses through what she calls, and I love this, extreme time blocking. And yes, I will be scheduling an appointment with her very soon to get my life organized as well. She has a podcast, YouTube channels, and a budding company called Magnificent Manifestors, which I am a proud member of. She is a daughter, a sister, a wife, a partner, and my dear friend. Without further ado, this is Marian Knopp.
Thank you, Rose. That was such a beautiful introduction. I was not prepared for all of that.
I know. I kept replaying it in my mind and I was like, I should probably write it down because this is awesome. And you're awesome. And you totally deserve a moment to just shine in your amazingness.
Yeah, well, I'm your client. That is my introduction. I am a huge fan of you and all that you've helped me to do.
Yeah, that is another thing. You are also a client of mine and it has, we're on this cool little journey together. So I would love for, you to share with our audience, with our members, with everyone in this group. And hello, we're so excited that you're here with us today. A little bit about what it was like before we knew each other.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think about before I worked with you, I mean, it's like a bunch of scribbles. It's just so much mess. And a lot of it is, well, yeah, all of it is in my head, just of my relationship with food and diet and weight loss and health. I started my health journey a decade ago when I thought, I'd like to be a mom. Let me go do a doctor's checkup and find out how I'm going to do. And the doctor was like, not a good idea. You have thyroid problems and here's another diagnosis. And I went through this whole journey of going through nutritional coaching and I ended up on a whole bunch of supplements and had to do the food sensitivity stuff. And I went on all the diets. I mean, from juicing to paleo to the AIP, I did so many things that by the time I got to know you, Rose, I was looking at food and not knowing what was good. It was this very dark place. My kitchen is right over here. And whenever I would look over there, it would be lunchtime, and I would look over there and I'd be like, I have no idea what's safe. There's nothing safe for me. And I would either skip meals or I would end up with the most basic of processed foods, rice, ramen, and bone broth. That was my go-to,
in there.
It always ended up with rice or something that very basic because I was so afraid of everything. Yeah. I had been told I couldn't eat all of the things. And then I was told to eat, these things, but in certain portions. And it was so messy and so overwhelming that it paralyzed me. And then, of course, on top of all of that, I'm still an obese woman. I'm still this woman who have been struggling with my own body image and my weight and all of that. And, just even cutting out the food portion of it, it's been starting in 2015, that's 5 years ago. I started working out every single day, and I still do that, and I still feel good about that. I don't do it as intense as I have in some seasons, but, just trying to make it right, trying to perfect my life in a way that I was doing it right. And I just wasn't seeing any results because I didn't understand what was right and what to do. And it was just messy and jumbled. And I don't know if any of that made sense, but that's where I was coming from.
Man, that definitely makes sense. I think that, myself and probably every woman, and I think we got a couple men in here too, so shout out to you as well. But most of us can definitely relate to what it is that you were talking about. I was just on a call the other day with a woman. And she's like, I just don't know. And I totally get that. I remember when I was, getting my master's degree in health education and specializing in nutrition. And we went through like every single diet, and we had to do analysis on every single one. And there is so much information out there. And I remember I came across one guy that went into this, like, and a very respected guy that a lot of what he says is amazing. And he went into detail about how blueberries are toxic.
No, please, no. Don't take that away from me.
I was lost my mind. I was like, oh my God. I'm like educated in this. And it was overwhelming. And I just couldn't handle it. I can't even imagine, like, or I can remember, obviously, because I didn't always have an education in that. But yeah, it seems it's so much. And how do you really know what's right for you? It's very chaotic and very overwhelming. And really, we just want to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We just want to feel good, comfortable, and confident in our body. And like, just like you mentioned, and there was, I mean, you said the words and I felt the emotion behind it. It was like, I just wanted to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And like be confident that it was the right thing. Like there was no confidence. Even when, somebody prescribed it to me, I was like, oh, well, I mean, you prescribed another thing and that didn't work. So why would this one work? Yeah, I mean, going back to like one time I would do a diet and I would lose all this weight and I would feel amazing. I'd gain it back because duh. All I did was change my food and I didn't change my thought life at all. So I gained it all back. And then I would be like, oh, let me just do that all over again. And the second time I would do it, wouldn't do anything. It would actually make me miserable. And it was like, what is happening? It has nothing to do with the assignment, the prescription, the diet plan. It had nothing to do with that and everything to do with me and my mindset around it.
You just like hit the nail right on the head right there. Exactly. I mean, that's what I tell people. They're like, well, I did this diet and I really want to do it and I want to do this and not that. And I can have this and not that. And like, well, what about this? And like that. Yeah, they all actually work. You know what I mean? Like pretty much all of them, if you do it, they actually work. Ideally, what we do is we shift our perception and our way of eating so that what we're doing today can be consistent, is also something that we want to be doing in a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Like the master cleanse, I can't do that for 10 years straight. I tried. I think 15 days was the longest I ever got with that one.
Wow.
And just getting the weight off, right, is like super exciting. But then what? Oh, yeah. I think we can relate to that. That's the way that it was. So then what happened, right? Like what was that transition time? What were you looking for when we kind of fell into each other's lives? What was going on for you at that time that helped you make that shift?
Yeah, I think I started seeing myself from others' eyes. I was, I would be in certain conversations um, and I would feel somewhat compelled to like confess what was going on with me, like confess that I wasn't eating, or I would confess, I have no idea what I'm doing. Do you have any tips? And I recognize, oh, well, I should probably figure this out. And how many times have I said that to myself? So it started very much as something I've always done, hundreds of times. Well, I got to figure this out once and for all. There's got to be an answer out there. And I remember I actually put out a call into a group full of health coaches and was like, here's what I do. Here's what I, have tried. I don't know what's wrong with me. DM me. And then like that followed with like 8 people in my DMs and they all had different answers. And I was like, this is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't, which one's right? You're all professionals. What the heck? And so, yeah, that's where I was. So that happened. I was paralyzed. I did not make a decision because it was too overwhelming. And then, of course, in other aspects of my life, I got to know you, Rose, just as a friend and just as somebody who was doing this work. And just getting to know you and recognizing how you see the world, I was like, well, that's something I would have never heard from a health coach. I would have never known what hypnosis was, or the fact that you were just so confident in how weight loss works, and how the mind, is impacted by it. And I just, I decided to try it out. And so I went to one of your free classes.
The webinar.
And
That's right.
yeah, you had a free class, and it was really awesome because I've never actually worked with any sort of coach who had a similar journey as me. And you walked me through your journey, and I was like, well, she knows exactly what I'm going through. Like she's done it. So if she can look like that, and if she can get the results, from other people, like, then I better hear her out. And I scheduled a breakthrough call, and damn, did I have a breakthrough.
It is. I mean, we're kind of like laughing about that, because laughing is a release, right? So it's an emotional release. It's like, oh my God, there was so much years of buildup, and of course, like we're hindsight, we're looking back at like what the story was, right? But this is days and weeks and years of confusion and pain and suffering. And then, I mean, not all of it, right? Like there's days and moments of where it's just not even on the mind. And then there's days and weeks and months where it's like kind of all consuming. And of course, that's always how life is, right? And it's easy for us to get into a pain spot and take some action, and then it kind of passes, right? Whether for a day or something like that. So to actually do what you did, and to take that action and follow through, like it's been several months now. I believe I was actually just looking back at when you signed up. It was May.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
May. Yeah. So you signed up for the program, and you started just going through the different things that I outline. And tell us a little bit about your journey since being in the program, what you've learned, what you've released, what you've gained, and what it's like now.
Yeah, going through the program was super eye-opening. I started off like I normally do with programs, very perfectionist style, very much like I'm going to be the best student here. Let me do all my homework. And of course, I remember just getting really nitpicky and then feeling awkward about how nitpicky I was, because I was like, am I allowed to have almond butter? Like, I had those kinds of questions, like, am I allowed to have this? Like, I've been told I'm not supposed to eat this. Is this allowed? And just hearing, your response, it wasn't a yes or no. It was very much like, well, what do you think? And like really tuning into what are my belief system, telling me, and is that true, or is that something I learned from someone else or somewhere else? And have I truly tested that belief myself? And so I would just remember those first few weeks just like in that grind of like getting used to everything, but also doing everything you told me to, because I was like, I'm going to, I made this investment. I'm going to put it in the work, and I'm going to get what I need out of it. And I'm so glad that I was as as committed as I was those first few weeks, because those first few weeks I slipped up a lot. A lot. And because I was so committed to the program, I was able to see it. And because I was able to check in with you and the other ladies in the group, like I would recognize, I couldn't keep that from you guys. And I remember there was one instance where I was working here at my desk, and my kitchen's right over there, and my partner had made pizza, and he put it on the oven. And this was like a few weeks into the program. He put it on the oven to cool, and then he was going to come back and eat it. And I was like, whatever, you do you. And I'm like here. And then I just had to go to the bathroom, and going to the bathroom, I had to pass the oven. And before I knew it, I was on my second slice of pizza, just standing over the oven.
Yep.
And I was like, what is happening? Like, why is that happening? I had already had my lunch. I had already had my committed food. Like, what was going on there? And then actually having to face that and dig into it instead of ignoring it, instead of saying, well, I guess it's over. We're done here. Like, bye, Rose. I'm going to just keep being me over here. Like, I could have easily done that, but like the way that you have built this community, like, I made friends. I can't leave them. You know, like I have to stick around. I got to hang out. I got to, you know, be honest because everyone else is honest. And so learning those lessons and then diving deeper into them so I don't have to learn those lessons again.
Yeah.
And continuing to grow. And like, I don't even know how to articulate how much my mindset has shifted and how much my thoughts around food have shifted just from going through this program. I can tell you though, like when I look at the kitchen, it's kind of exciting because I know what I get to eat because I already wrote it down and I know exactly what I'm going to eat. Like I know what I'm going to have for dinner.
Yep.
I made cabbage last night.
Yeah.
Rose knows I got like this new fondness of cabbage and yeah, I got some leftovers for dinner tonight. It's going to be great. You know, and it's just like, it's exciting. It's not this dark, you know, shadowy place of like, this could kill you. This might give you cancer. I don't know, like the crazy thoughts I would think about, like, oh, can I eat eggs?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that. Again, I mean, I'm just sitting here going like like a little bobblehead in the corner. I'm hearing you. I'm feeling you. I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember going through that with you. You know, and of course I'm playing back some of my own experiences similar to that and what it's like to really have that kind of like the kind of supportive community with that structure. Right. So it's like there's enough wiggle room to be exactly who you are. Like we don't all eat the exact same thing. Right. Like that's not the kind of diet plan that it is. It's not like this is the juice and do it like this and you'll lose weight. It's really we come together with a solid structure of what to do. And then there's some flexibility to be exactly who we are and go through our stuff. And then that support. It's really, you know, I mean, the program doesn't exist without you. So there is a thank you for continuing to show up and work through that stuff. It's very inspiring to me and to everyone else in the group as well. So thank you for that. So there's two things. One, are you willing to share your numbers for people? Because I know that can be kind of fun and exciting. And also, just the way that you've kind of like set up your goals and where you're at and what that feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I came to Rose in May, I was at my heaviest of my adult life, which was 192. And I will tell you that first month, I didn't actually really follow the plan. At all. Honestly, I did like the quick start and then I would do my breakfast right, but then lunch and dinner, you know, bring on the nachos.
Yeah.
We're going out to eat, you know, that kind of thing. Like if I didn't have to plan it, it wasn't going to be planned.
Right.
And then finally what really sparked it was my camping trip in June. What really sparked it was I had it. I wanted to do it right. Because I recognized whenever I wasn't eating according to the plan or wasn't planning my food, I would just, you know, fall apart and slip into old habits. So yeah, so even though after a month of not doing it right at all, but convincing myself I was doing pretty good, and now it's August. I am at 179. So I'm very, very happy about that. It's shocking though, because I don't feel like I'm losing weight. I don't think I've actually felt the entire time that I've been losing weight. With other diets, you're hungry so much that it's like, I'm definitely losing weight, right? Like, cause I'm starving myself or I'm working out so hard that I must be losing weight, right? Well, with this, like, it's it's kind of very chill. It's like there's no extreme bodily feelings. And so to step on the scale, it's kind of surprising. And we I was so surprised that, you know, weighing ourselves wasn't a very big focus. And most of my friends only weigh themselves like once a month. So I went that route. And only recently, a couple of weeks ago, because I've set a goal for myself to be less than 175 by Friday, October 9th, I started weighing myself weekly. And that has been incredibly motivating because I see the loss happen every single week. And it shocks me still. I'm still in shock that it happens so steadily. And it's not a lot, guys. It's like 1 to 2 pounds max, but it happens and it's still happening. So I am definitely on track to lose that much in the next few weeks to hit my goal. And in terms of, you know, moving forward, it's going to be very similar goal setting where I'm probably going to estimate, you know, 0.5 pound to 1 pound a week and set another goal, you know, maybe 3 months out, because that really helps me. I'm a journaler, and that really is motivating for me to journal my goal and to, even if I don't check it every day, I like, you know, writing down why I'm doing this and writing down what I'm going to eat the next day. So all of that's super important to solidify, you know, my mindset around this and my determination, so I don't have to rely on willpower.
Yeah, because that gets exhausted. Sometimes by 8:15 in the morning. Sometimes I can make it till 6 at night, but
100%. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, we just can't. We have to bypass the willpower. Otherwise, we will always, always, always go back to what we know, because that's the way the brain works. It's designed that way. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's just the way that it is. So really lifting the blame and the shame and just getting into some action and allowing the support to hold us allows us to move forward. That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you for that. I guess, you know, one of my last questions would be about the hypnosis. You had mentioned that that was something that you were not familiar with. And I know that there's a lot of negative connotations. There's a lot of misinformation and confusion about that word and what it means. So would you share a little bit about maybe what you thought and then what your actual experience is around that?
Oh yeah, I was one of those typical people who are like, hypnosis, you're gonna make me quack like a duck, like I'm not in control of my body. I was very confused by the concept. But that being said, I had already started a very consistent meditation practice. And so I already had that habit of being able to sit quietly and just still my mind. So I went full force into, once Rose explained what hypnosis is, and she has some great videos you guys should check out about that. When she explained what it really is, and that it's just really helping us change our, thought patterns to more positive, healthy thought patterns than the ones we say to ourselves. I was definitely willing to do that. And I went like full force into it. I don't think everyone does this, but I was like, I'm going to do the hypnosis 3 times a day. I'm going to do it at every single meditation. I did a morning meditation, afternoon meditation, and then right before I would go to bed, Rose would put me to sleep. I would do those hypnoses, and I did that the whole 12 weeks of the program. And I guarantee that was why I had such success, because I don't think the same thoughts anymore. I don't I don't look at food the same way. Like I look at the food that's on my plate, and it's my food, and I don't look at other people's food. I don't feel bad about, situations that I'm in. I don't self-sabotage myself, and there's just so many things I'm sure I don't even know about that I just let sink into my subconscious so that I can live this positive, very confident life. Going back to like what I'm thinking about for my future, I've got a lot of weight to lose still. And so I'm going to keep doing all of this and I still listen to the hypnoses. And I'm going to keep going and I'm going to lose the weight, but also like this is something super sustainable that I can do for the rest of my life. Like I can 100% have my whole life work in this framework that Rose has designed. And it's already been tested so much, guys. I know we're in COVID and in quarantine, but this summer I've done a lot of traveling. I visit a lot of people. I've been in very temptation-filled places,
Yep.
and I have overcome. And whew, it was emotional leading up to those things, but then once I did it, it was like, oh shoot, well this is a victory lap now. Like I've already overcome. Like we have the holidays coming up. I'm ready for them. Like
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Every
no
day.
big deal. Cause I got through 4th of July. I got through, a week at my parents'. I got through all sorts of like eating out situations. Those things aren't going to be an issue. I know exactly how to celebrate and enjoy the food at that time.
Amen. And that's so nice. Oh, you just painted such a beautiful picture of what it was like and what happened and what it's like now. And it hasn't been that long, right? Like that shift, that transformation is pretty quick. I know what we're going through it. We're like, come on now. And then we realize, oh my God, we're on the other side. So I bet that was a good experience for you to kind of look back on your journey in that way too. So amazing. If anyone feels inspired to reach out to you, is that okay if they message you or?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions or yeah, to talk more about my experience or specifics. You can message me on Facebook. I am in the group, so just slide it into my messages, or you can email me at marianknopp.com. And yeah, I was just thinking actually from what I just said as the last note, I really love that I can still love food
Mm,
on this plan. I don't know if there's people in this group that could relate to that, but like whenever we go on weight loss journeys or diets, we always think, oh, I'm going to have to limit my food.
yeah.
But no, there is dinner. I eat more food at dinner than I've ever had to eat. Um, so I still get to love food. I still get to enjoy food, and it's not limited in a way that feels like I'm being limited. So I just want to say that for anyone who's like on the fence, who is a foodie, like I
Foodies unite.
yeah.
So maybe we should change the name of this group. Foodies unite. We're gonna be all right. We'll get through it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Well, such an honor, such a pleasure. I just absolutely adore you, and thank you for letting me cruise along this journey with you.
Thanks for building this beautiful supportive community and offering your wisdom to change our lives.
Oh, thank you. All right, Marian, I will see you soon.
Bye.